It look like whenever a survivor calls on our crisis line wanting to get involved with counseling?
Yeah, so basically, you call in and an advocate answers. Could be a staff member, could be one of our wonderful volunteers. And so at that point in time, if you have any questions or anything like that, they can give brief information about the services we provide. They'll gather the callers or survivors contact information, and then if I'm unavailable at that point in time, then they will pass it to me for a follow-up call. And we try to call back within 1 to 2 days, if not the same day. And so really, it's really not intimidating at all. You can call in and literally just say, hey, I'm looking for some counseling services. Is there anyone I can talk to set that up?
Perfect. Yes. And so once you follow up, what does that look like?
So we try real hard to make everything as easy and least intimidating as possible. So I call you, normally it's myself, and might be one of our counselors, but we call back and we just gather some more basic information, your contact information, your city, your date of birth, just regular stuff that you would have to give like at a doctor's office. It's all confidential and only the clinical team knows about it. We don't ask for your specific address, nothing like that. It's all very safe. And we do that for comfort for our clients. And so that basic information is essentially our initial assessment or our phone assessment. And after we complete all that, we'll go ahead and schedule for an intake appointment. This is also a really good time for us to answer any questions or concerns or kind of to ease any nerves as well.
That's awesome. And so when they go into an intake, what is that? What does that look like?
Yes. Yeah, so the word intake can be pretty intimidating and scary for some because it sounds like inpatient or it sounds like it's going to be very in-depth. It's not at all. It's an hour-long information gathering session is what we call it. And so we kind of just go, it's more getting to know you a little better. So how in-depth someone wants to go, the pace, of the session is completely dependent on the client. And so basically we just build more rapport with you so we can best assign that client to one of our counselors and still answer questions and really anything like that, give information, but it's really just we sit you in a cozy counseling office and basically, yeah, just kind of get to know you a little bit. We don't go in depth. We don't ask for details. If it's given to us, great. That helps us create a treatment plan later on. If not, that's not the end of the world.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that you said that because I feel like intake or that word or even the thought of getting involved with counseling, sometimes people are like, I'm not ready to get right into the nitty gritty, and that's not what it looks like. It looks like your pace, what you're comfortable with. We won't ever put you in a situation where you're uncomfortable or you're moving too fast or anything like that.
Right, exactly. And that whole like moving at your pace, moving with what's comfortable, what's working for you carries through the entire counseling therapy journey. So we tell our clients all the time, or people who call in, hey, if we're going too fast or if you're not ready to do something or maybe the specific technique isn't working, let us know and we'll adjust because it's about the client, it's not about us. So we want to make sure that everything feels right and healing and not rushed, and it's it's an empowerment moment as well to say, hey, this isn't working. Let's try something else.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. So what types of therapy do we offer at the Turning Point?
Yeah, so we have services for both friends and family members as well as survivors.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people call in thinking that we only offer services to the what we call primary survivors. Friends and family members also suffer and struggle, and so we like to also advertise that as well. And so we have the individual services, and we also have group services. But the types of therapy, we do a lot of different modalities, but we really try to focus on EMDR. And that is a very specialized trauma treatment. And so it kind of almost sounds scary, just the acronym itself, but it's been proven to be one of the most effective types of treatment for PTSD.
Yeah, and that is, if you have watched any of my education presentations, then you know that PTSD is a huge symptom of sexual violence trauma. Like sexual trauma and PTSD are very correlated with one another. I'm sorry. No, yes, I love you too. Get down. What is going on with you, sir? Get down. Get down. I'm presenting. Okay. um, but yeah, so PTSD is that impacts a lot of survivors of sexual violence. And a lot of times in our heads, we think PTSD, a returning soldier or something like that. Whenever it's so much more broad than that, it does not just affect that demographic, it affects a huge number of demographics because it's something that revolves around trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dog's throwing up. Hold on.
No.
I can edit that out. He just started going boo, boo, and I'm like, no.
No.
I don't know what he ate. He ate something. I don't know what it was. He ate something, and now he's puking. But okay.
I'm like, hold on, okay, we're good now.
Okay, but yeah, so EDMR is something, or I always do that. EMDR.
Okay.
EMDR is something that sounds scary, but it really just stands for what?
Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So it is definitely a mouthful, which is why EMDR is a great acronym. And yes, I do always have to slow down to say that.
Don't we all? Because if I say it too fast, then I mess it up. So, but that is one of the main therapy techniques that we use because it is so effective and so amazing for trauma survivors.
Yeah.
But so going past that, what are the benefits to getting involved in counseling?
Yeah, so there are so many, so I'm just going to keep it real brief. And so the benefits of counseling really for anyone, primary or secondary survivor, really the improvement of the quality of life is probably the biggest one, most broad one that we see, and that a lot of other benefits basically can fall under. In trauma therapy, there is a decrease in anxiety and depression and PTSD, their symptoms. And it's really amazing to see clients progress through their journey. And the way that we see that is through the decrease in these symptoms and the improvement of the quality of their lives. There's also, it really helps improve interpersonal relationships. So on the survivor's end, it helps you to begin to be comfortable again, to trust, and to really set up and uphold boundaries. I'm not really going to go into boundaries, but if you haven't heard of them, big like buzzword. And
if you haven't heard of boundaries, make sure to go to our video section where we have a whole section and a whole topic around boundaries and emotional regulation.
yeah, big deal. And that's emotional regulation is a huge, huge benefit of counseling as well. And on the friends and family side of it, you know, it helps you to support your loved one going through it, but it also helps you set up boundaries that are healthy and comfortable for you as well as your loved one. And again, you know, it can help with trust and empowerment and resiliency. So, you know, the benefits aren't just specific to one type of client, they really are across the board. And then I just always like to say this because a lot of people are afraid to completely open up to their therapist. And we don't want that at all. We try very, very hard to create a safe space for our clients to be 100% themselves, to be able to voice their feelings, their thoughts and opinions, and really their struggles. And so that's having that safe space without biases or concerns about, can you say this, can you not say this, like how you might have with your friends and family. You don't really have to worry about that in therapy. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits that may get overlooked in a lot of people's eyes, because it's just a safe, unbiased space.
Yeah, and that's what's so incredible, and that's why we always speak so highly of counseling, because something that I love to say is that the world would be a better place if everybody went to counseling.
Yes.
And so even if, like we were saying, you aren't a survivor of sexual violence, but your daughter or your best friend or anyone like in your life has been impacted by sexual violence and you're helping them through that trauma, you need some sort of help yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And so we want you to be empowered and to have a sense of solace and safety so that you can provide solace and safety for the survivor.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. You can't pour from an empty cup. We use it all the time. Definitely a great way of looking at basically helping yourself and being able to help and support those around you.
Yeah, like the best way to support and help those around you is to support and help yourself, because once you're in the best headspace, that's when you can provide the best help. And so let's like switch gears a little bit. Let's kind of touch on legal advocacy, because that's a huge component of sexual violence that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, so legal advocacy, there's a lot that can fall into that. Not going to go super in depth, but can explain some things. But there's a whole lot that falls into legal advocacy. I think the first place to start is we do not have a lawyer on our team at this moment in time, and so we cannot offer legal advice. And so it's very different from legal advocacy. So I can provide you all types of information and options. We can accompany you to the police departments for initial reports, or they'll call them interviews. But basically you go in and give your statement and talk to the detectives. We can go into the courtrooms with you. We can go into depositions. So really we're there. We can I always refer to myself and to our advocates as emotional support people. We're just kind of another person in your corner that's there to listen, that knows what you're going through, that's just there for you and to help you every step of the way. we also can help with filling out and filing applications for with CVC, which is Crime Victims Compensation, and that is ran through the Office of Attorney General. And so basically that's just a program that's in place to help crime victims financially. And there's a lot that goes into that. So we're not going to go much further into that, but it is a right of yours to have that information and to apply for that. We can also help with ACP. Early lease, yeah. So we'll do both. ACP is Address Confidentiality Program. And so basically that is also ran through the Office of Attorney General. And so you just send a quick, it's actually very simple, very short application. And you send it into them. Once you're approved, they assign you a PO box, and you can have almost all of your mail, unless it's subscription or like Amazon packages, you can't use it. They won't forward your mail. But you can use that PO box for voting registration at the DMV, really anywhere that would be public knowledge. So it's basically like a safety precaution. And I like to suggest using that program and applying for that program after doing the early lease termination. So if you were assaulted in an apartment or a house that you rent, or anywhere that you have a leasing or renting agreement, if you are assaulted, there's also, this also applies for survivors of stalking and family violence as well, but I'm not well versed on those, so it looks a little different. But for sexual assault, it is your right, and it should be in the contract, the leasing contract, that if you were assaulted on those premises, you have the right to terminate your lease without it affecting your credit. And it won't go on any type of report or anything like that. And that's something we can help with. We can send documentation. There's two letters. There's an affidavit and a 30-day notice. And then we can also provide a letter of services. And so normally I'm the one that prepares all that and sends it with the survivor. And all you have to do is provide it to your landlord. And you have 30 days to move. And it all kind of circles back because the crime victims compensation can also help with relocation costs. So it all working together is actually a really helpful and very safe way for survivors to move forward and feel safe again.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that that's something that's so important for people to know, because a lot of people don't know that we can help you like move and help you get to a safe spot, because we get so many calls where somebody doesn't feel safe anymore in their home, and you should never feel unsafe in your home, and especially after facing such a huge trauma. And so that's what we have our beautiful Brianna for, to help, because that paperwork does look scary, and sometimes if you're trying to do it on your own, you're like, I don't even know where to start. And so why not find a pro at it? So we have our designated pro for helping you with all your legal advocacy needs. And while we don't do legal advice because we have no lawyer, we can usually find a place that does.
Yeah, we have lots of resources. There's bigger organizations, and then we also have individual private lawyers. I'm so used to counseling terms sometimes, so that I was going to say private practice, but private law firms, and then also just bigger agencies. Like we refer to Texas Advocacy Project very, very often, and they are a great group. They have a lot that they can help with, and so we refer to them all the time. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm so happy that you came to be able to spread this knowledge so that we can, empower others and educate others on their options. And not even just for them, but let's say somebody else that they know, because we know that every, 73 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. And we know that Texas is extremely high for sexual violence. And so a lot of people will be affected by this crime, and they need to have the knowledge of where they can find resources and help. And so I'm so happy that you came to spread awareness about that. Do you have anything else that you want to say for survivors or friends or family members?
Yeah. So before I forget, I just wanted to thank you for having me. But we are, and I should have said this in the beginning because we get a lot of calls for this. So we are all inclusive. There's no discrimination on our clientele. We serve ages for counseling 13 to, I don't know, if you're 103, we would you. And we see a lot of men, women, LGBTQIA. So there's no discrimination at all. Everybody is welcome. And we are really good at what we do, and we really want to help anybody and everybody out there. And if you happen to be watching this and you are far away, we can always give resources to near you as well. We have a lot of partner agencies, and we have a lot of even private therapists and whatnot on our resource list as well. So don't be afraid to reach out for referrals either.
Yes.
Of course, we want to help you, but if you happen to be out of our area, we certainly can still help. And there is a place near you. I guarantee there's a place near you or somebody that can help near you.
Yes. So we are always open to helping you find somewhere that's closer to you. Let's say you live in San Antonio. It's like you're not going to drive hours and hours to come get our services, and we want to make sure that you're taken care of and that you have options. So even if you call us and you're not near us, we can definitely find something near you. I love that you added that. I always forget to add that.
No, I'm trying to put that out there. It's easy to forget to kind of bring that up, but no, we are open to helping you in whatever way we possibly can. And if we are not afraid to call on your behalf, to refer you elsewhere, to kind of do that legwork for you, because that one in itself can be intimidating and draining and honestly deterring. And so if you're kind of in that position where you're like, I want help, but I don't know where to start, give us a call. And we are happy to help in whatever way we can.
Yes.